Welcome to Golden Flame Stars. They were the heartthrobs who made the world fall in love with rock. Voices that stirred rebellion, faces that defined style, and spirits that burned with passion. From the thunder of Led Zeppelin to the magic of the Beatles, these legends turned music into myth. Today, we relive the era when rock ruled the world, and its stars ruled our hearts. Robert Plant, the golden voice of Led Zeppelin, he turned blues and mysticism into pure rock poetry. With songs like Stairway to Heaven and Whole Lotta Love, he became a symbol of power and sensuality. At 77, Plant still performs with soulful grace, keeping the spirit of classic rock alive. Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, she rose from hardship to global stardom with unstoppable strength and fiery performances. She died in 2023 at 83 after a long illness, leaving behind a legacy of empowerment and resilience. Her voice remains one of the most powerful in rock history. Freddie Mercury, the flamboyant and fearless frontman of Queen, his unmatched vocals and theatrical genius redefined rock performance. He died in 1991 at 45 from AIDS-related complications, yet his energy and artistry remain immortal. Freddie's legacy continues to inspire courage, creativity, and the freedom to be unapologetically oneself. John Lennon, the soulful voice and visionary mind behind the Beatles, he shaped a generation with songs of love and peace like Imagine and All You Need Is Love. He was 40 when he was tragically shot and killed in 1980 outside his New York home by Mark David Chapman, a Disturbed fan. His legacy of hope, peace, and artistic courage still echoes through time. Paul McCartney, the melodic heart of the Beatles, he shaped modern music with songs that defined an era. At 83, he still tours with unshakable energy, blending rock, pop, and nostalgia. His timeless voice and genius for melody continue to inspire generations of musicians worldwide. Mick Jagger, the electrifying frontman of the Rolling Stones, he redefined stage presence with his swagger, energy, and charisma. At 82, he still performs worldwide, proving that true rock spirit never fades. His voice and moves remain symbols of rebellion, vitality, and timeless cool. Jim Morrison, the enigmatic frontman of The Doors, he embodied rebellion, poetry, and mystique. Known for his hypnotic stage presence and raw lyrics, he died in 1971 at 27, reportedly from heart failure in Paris. His spirit remains a haunting symbol of freedom and artistic madness. Janis Joplin, the soul of psychedelic rock, she turned pain into power with her raspy, emotional voice. Hits like Piece of My Heart made her a legend. She died in 1970 at 27 from a heroin overdose, leaving behind a legacy of raw, fearless expression. Jimi Hendrix is one of the most influential electric guitarists in the history of popular music and one of the most renowned musicians of the 20th century. His fiery performances and songs like Purple Haze and Hey Joe redefined sound itself. He died in 1970 at 27 from asphyxiation after a drug overdose. yet his influence still burns bright today. Bob Dylan, the poetic voice of a generation, he blended folk and rock into powerful protest anthems like Blowin' in the Wind. With a career spanning more than 6 decades, he stands as one of the greatest musicians of all time, leaving a lasting impact on music and culture. At 84, he remains an active performer and a Nobel Prize laureate. Roger Daltrey, the commanding voice of The Who, he gave anthems like My Generation their explosive energy. At 81, he still performs with power and precision, his voice carrying the same defiance that once defined Britain's rock revolution. Rod Stewart, with his raspy voice and magnetic charm, he blended rock, soul, and pop like no other. From Maggie Made It to You Think I'm Sexy, his hits span generations. At 80, he still tours the world, proving that charisma and rock and roll never grow old. Grace Slick, the trailblazing singer of Jefferson Airplane, she brought fierce intelligence and psychedelic vision to rock. With songs like White Rabbit and Somebody to Love, she captured the spirit of the 1960s. Now 86, she lives privately but remains an icon of artistic freedom. Eric Burdon, the gritty, soulful voice of the Animals, he gave raw emotion to classics like House of the Rising Sun. At 84, he continues to embody the working-class roots of British blues rock, a survivor of the sound that changed the world. Bruce Springsteen, the boss of American rock, his gritty voice and heartfelt lyrics captured the working-class soul of America. At 76, he still electrifies crowds with epic performances of Born to Run and Dancing in the Dark, proving rock's power lies in truth and passion. Steve Winwood, a prodigy turned legend, he led Traffic and Blind Faith before launching a stellar solo career. With his soulful voice and hits like Higher Love, he became a bridge between rock, soul, and blues. At 77, he remains a master musician and performer. Peter Frampton, the charismatic singer-guitarist who defined 1970s arena rock with Frampton Comes Alive. At 75, he continues to perform despite health struggles, his melodic voice and talkbox solos still captivating generations of fans. Steve Miller, frontman of the Steve Miller Band, he brought melody, wit, and joy to rock classics like The Joker and Fly Like an Eagle. At 82, he still tours, celebrating a career built on timeless hooks and feel-good rock spirit. Roger Taylor, the dynamic drummer and occasional vocalist of Queen, known for his high harmonies and fiery energy. At 76, he still performs with Queen plus Adam Lambert, keeping the band's iconic sound alive for new generations. David Coverdale, the golden-voiced frontman of Deep Purple and Whitesnake, he blended bluesy power with seductive rock energy. At 74, he remains a symbol of classic hard rock, his songs like Here I Go Again echoing across generations of fans. Ace Frehley, the original lead guitarist and occasional singer of Kiss, he brought swagger, energy, and pyrotechnic flair to one of rock's biggest stages. Though he passed away on October 16, 2025, at the age of 74, his wild riffs and signature makeup forever etched in rock history. John Waite. Known for his soaring vocals and emotional delivery, he found fame with the Babies and his solo hit Missing You. At 73, he remains a respected voice in rock, blending passion and vulnerability in every performance. David Essex. The British rock star and actor who rose to fame with Rock On in the 1970s. At 78, he continues to perform and charm audiences with his smooth voice and nostalgic stage charisma, a lasting icon of Britain's pop rock era. Donald "Don" Felder, the legendary guitarist and songwriter of the Eagles, co-writer of Hotel California. Though not the band's main vocalist, his musicianship shaped the sound of an era. At 78, he remains an admired figure in classic rock. Gary Brooker, the soulful voice and pianist of Procol Harum, immortalized by A Whiter Shade of Pale. He passed away in 2022 at age 76, after a battle with cancer, remembered for his elegance, emotion, and timeless contribution to classic rock. Gary Wright, the singer and keyboardist behind the dreamy hit Dreamweaver, blending rock with early synthesizer magic. He passed away in 2023 at age 80, after battling Parkinson's and Lewy body dementia, leaving behind a legacy of spiritual and melodic rock. Ozzy Osbourne, the wild, magnetic frontman of Black Sabbath, he transformed heavy metal with dark power and raw emotion. He passed away on July 22, 2025, at age 76, after years of health struggles. Forever the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy's fearless spirit and haunting voice continue to define the soul of rock rebellion. Eric Clapton, born March 30, 1945, blues rock guitar legend. At 80, he struggles with peripheral neuropathy, causing pain and numbness. Despite this, he continues to play, his soulful guitar work inspiring across generations. Ronnie Wood, born June 1, 1947, guitarist of the Rolling Stones. At 78, he is a two-time cancer survivor, having battled lung and small cell cancer. Today, he continues touring, his artistry undiminished. Paul Simon, born October 13, 1941, half of Simon and Garfunkel. At 83, he suffers from severe hearing loss in one ear. Though this affects live performance, he remains active in songwriting, exploring profound new themes. Chrissie Hynde, born September 7, 1951, Fearless Pretenders frontwoman, now 73. Staying active on stage, she manages mild age-related joint pain but remains vigorous. Her punk edge and melodic hits such as Brass and Pocket cement her place as a resilient rock trailblazer. Elton John, born March 25, 1947, global pop rock icon. At 78, he has overcome addiction and past health scares, including prostate cancer. Now retired from touring, he focuses on family and advocacy, his music timelessly enduring. Cliff Richard, born October 14, 1940, one of Britain's most enduring rock and pop stars. Now 84, he has faced health setbacks but continues to perform. His career, spanning over 6 decades, secures his place as a true international music legend. Graham Nash, born February 2, 1942, British-American rock singer. At 83, he maintains relatively good health, though naturally slowed by age. Still touring, he shares reflective new works alongside timeless classics. Mike Love, born March 15, 1941, co-founder of the Beach Boys. At 84, he stays active in music, maintaining relatively good health. Still touring, he keeps California's sun-soaked sound alive. Art Garfunkel, born November 5, 1941, angelic voice of Simon and Garfunkel. At 83, he once lost his voice due to vocal cord damage but has improved. He continues performing selectively, keeping his delicate tone alive. Ray Davies, born June 21, 1944, songwriter and leader of the Kinks. At 81, he deals with lingering injuries from past health scares and age-related weakness. He still writes and occasionally performs, maintaining his sharp wit and rock legacy. Ringo Starr, born July 7, 1940, drummer of the Beatles and peace advocate. At 85, he lives with arthritis that affects his drumming but stays active. He continues touring with his all-star band, spreading joy through music. Jimmy Page, born January 9, 1944, guitarist of Led Zeppelin. At 81, he faces arthritis and age-related decline, limiting public appearances. Though he rarely tours, he remains musically active, preserving his guitar legacy through recordings and projects. Pete Townshend, born May 19, 1945, guitarist of The Who. At 80, he copes with long-term hearing loss from years of loud performances. Still, he continues recording and touring, keeping The Who's fiery spirit alive on stage. Jorma Kaukonen, born December 23, 1940, guitarist of Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna. At 84, he faces arthritis and hand issues from decades of playing. Still, he continues to tour actively, admired for his blues rock guitar artistry. Jack Cassidy, born April 13, 1944, bassist of Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna. At 81, he copes with age-related health issues, but stays musically active. He continues to perform with Hot Tuna, proving bass lines can echo for a lifetime. Roger McGuinn, born July 13, 1942, frontman of the Byrds. At 83, he experiences mobility challenges and vision issues linked to aging. Despite these, he still tours and records, keeping folk rock's jangling spirit alive. Roger Waters, born September 6, 1943, co-founder of Pink Floyd. At 81, he copes with hearing loss and stamina issues from age. Still, he remains politically outspoken and continues performing elaborate live shows globally. David Gilmour, born March 6, 1946, iconic Pink Floyd guitarist. At 79, he faces arthritis and reduced stamina, yet still records new projects. He occasionally tours, his guitar tone continuing to inspire generations of rock fans. Donovan, born May 10, 1946, Scottish folk rock poet. At 79, he faces frailty and reduced stamina, but remains creatively active. He still records occasionally, his gentle songs and mystic lyrics continuing to inspire. Neil Young, born November 12, 1945, Canadian folk rock icon. At 79, he deals with epilepsy and past polio effects but stays active. He continues releasing albums, his raw voice and activism still driving his artistry. Carlos Santana, born July 20, 1947, Latin rock guitar legend. At 78, he suffered a stage collapse in 2022 due to exhaustion. Now stabilized, he continues touring and recording, his fusion style still enchanting audiences worldwide. Dave Davies, born February 3, 1947, guitarist of the Kinks. At 78, he lives with lingering effects from a 2004 stroke. Despite challenges, he continues recording music, proving resilience and survival run deep in rock. Patti Smith, born December 30, 1946, punk poet and rock icon. At 78, she manages arthritis and reduced mobility but still tours. Her performances remain powerful, blending poetry, activism, and raw rock spirit. Pat Benatar, the powerhouse behind Love is a Battlefield and Hit Me With Your Best Shot. She became an anthem of female strength. Now 72, she still performs alongside her husband, Neil Giraldo, her voice as fierce and commanding as it was at her peak. Annie Haslam, the ethereal singer of Renaissance, renowned for her 5-octave range and celestial performances of Northern Lights. At 78, she remains immersed in art and music, her angelic presence and soaring voice continuing to uplift audiences everywhere. Stevie Nicks, the enchanting voice of Fleetwood Mac, she captured hearts with Dreams and Edge of 17. At 77, she still tours the world, her ethereal presence and poetic spirit inspiring generations. With every performance, she proves that magic and rock can truly coexist forever. Debbie Harry, the fearless frontwoman of Blondie, she fused punk energy with pop glamour on classics like Heart of Glass and Call Me. Now 80, she remains active in both music and art, her daring individuality and sharp wit still defining New York's rebellious cool. And Wilson, the powerful voice of Heart, defined 1970s rock with hits like Barracuda and Alone. Now 75, she still performs with fierce energy, touring and recording new music. Her soulful voice remains as commanding as ever, a living icon of female rock resilience. Nancy Wilson, the soulful guitarist of Heart, she captivated audiences with Crazy on You and Magic Man. At 71, she continues to perform and release new music, blending classic rock fire with fresh creativity, keeping Heart's legacy vibrantly alive. Chrissie Hynde, the defiant leader of the Pretenders, she turned songs like Brass and Pocket and Back on the Chain Gang into rock essentials. At 74, she's still recording and touring, her smoky voice and unwavering attitude standing as proof that authenticity never goes out of style. Bonnie Raitt, a blues rock icon whose soulful slide guitar and heartfelt hits like Something to Talk About defined authenticity. At 76, she's still touring and recording, celebrated for her rich voice, quiet activism, and graceful endurance in an ever-changing music scene. Tina Weymouth, the rhythmic backbone of Talking Heads and Tom Tom Club, she helped reshape new wave with Genius of Love and her unmistakable bass lines. Now 74, she remains a subtle yet powerful influence, her groove and creativity echoing through modern music. Cyndi Lauper, the vibrant 1980s icon who made the world dance to Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Time After Time. At 72, she continues to perform and advocate fearlessly, her colorful flair, humor, and heart shining just as brightly as ever. Cher, the pop rock powerhouse who turned reinvention into an art form, from If I Could Turn Back Time to modern chart hits. At 79, she's still performing with stunning poise, her commanding voice and dazzling presence, keeping her the definition of ageless stardom. Lita Ford, the fiery guitarist who blazed her path from the Runaways to solo fame with Kiss Me Deadly. Now 67, she still rocks the stage with fierce riffs and unshakable energy, her bold spirit proving that true metal queens never lose their fire. Joan Jett, a trailblazer for women in rock, she roared into fame with I Love Rock, Enroll, and Never Looked Back. At 67, she continues to tour and produce, her raw energy and rebellious heart proving that true rock and roll has no expiration date. Melissa Etheridge, with her raspy voice and deeply personal songs like Come to My Window, she became a beacon of emotional honesty and resilience. At 64, she continues to write, perform, and speak out for love, truth, and freedom, still one of rock's most authentic voices. Siouxsie Sioux, the gothic trailblazer who redefined post-punk through Siouxsie and the Banshees with hits like Hong Kong Garden. Now 68, she continues to enchant with her dark charisma and avant-garde artistry, forever a muse for creative rebels everywhere. Sheryl Crow, the 90s hitmaker behind All I Wanna Do and If It Makes You Happy, she mastered the art of blending pop, rock, and country soul. Now 63, she remains active and outspoken, admired for her creativity, confidence, and enduring optimism both on and off stage. Kim Gordon, the pioneering co-founder of Sonic Youth, who turned noise and art into empowerment. At 72, she continues to release daring solo work and create visual art, her fearless innovation and cool defiance still defining the edge of alternative rock. Alannah Myles, the smoky-voiced Canadian singer who mesmerized listeners with her timeless hit Black Velvet. Now 66, she remains devoted to her craft, recording on her own terms, her soulful tone and quiet confidence still captivating fans worldwide. Suzi Quatro, the fearless bassist and singer who shattered gender barriers in the 1970s with fiery hits like Can the Can. Now 75, she continues to perform around the world, her electric stage presence and leather-clad charisma, proving she's still the ultimate queen of rock rebellion. Kim Deal, the understated genius behind the Pixies and the Breeders, she shaped alternative rock with Cannonball and beyond. At 64, she quietly continues to create, her minimalist style and melodic instinct proving that subtlety can be just as powerful as noise. Belinda Carlisle, the radiant voice of the Go-Go's who became a global sensation with Heaven is a Place on Earth. Now 67, she tours the world with warmth and joy, her sparkling vocals and timeless charm keeping the spirit of the 80s alive. Steve Howe, the masterful guitarist of Yes, he elevated progressive rock with intricate melodies and flawless technique. At 78, he still performs with elegance and precision, blending rock, jazz, and classical influences. His artistry continues to define the sound of sophistication in rock music. Thank you for watching. These rock legends may have aged, but their music and spirit remain forever young. They taught us that passion never dies. It just finds new ways to shine. If their stories brought back memories, don't forget to like, share, and tell us which rock star still rules your heart. Stay tuned for more timeless legends, only on Golden Flame Stars.